The third chapter is, so first chapter it was introduction. Second chapter you discussed more about the data, right? What are the different kinds of data? What are the different kinds of attributes? How you can describe the data? How do you visualize the data? And how do you find the similarity or dissimilarity in the data? So all those were discussed in the second chapter. So now we'll move on to the third chapter, that is data pre-processing. So why do we need to pre-process the data? So the ultimate goal is to mine the data, right? We would like to have some useful knowledge from the data. So we are mining the data. So if the data itself is not having any quality, then whatever we perform the mining, the output or the knowledge may not be of good quality. So if you want your output to be a good, definitely input should also be a good one, isn't it? Otherwise what happens, it is like garbage in, garbage out, isn't it? So if you give garbage, we also need to prepare to get back garbage itself. So if you want to ensure that whatever the mining you are doing and it should be useful for us, it should give some knowledge to us, then the quality of data plays very important role in data mining. So how do we measure? How exactly we'll come to know whether the data is whatever is with us, whether it's a qualitative data or not. There are different views from which we can try to analyze or to understand quality of the data. Some of them are mentioned here. Right? So usually we expect our data to be accurate, to be complete, to be consistent, to be timeliness. It should be possible for us to believe the data. It should be possible for us to interpret the data. Right? So if all these things are there, then we can say the data is of good quality. So what do you mean by accuracy? Accuracy is the data should be correct, always correct. Whatever the data, whatever the attribute we are having with us, or whatever the values that are there for each attribute, so they should be correct. Only then we can say the data is accurate. Then completeness. So all the attributes, whatever we require, they should be available. If something is not available or some attribute is available but the value is not there within that attribute, so then it cannot be considered as a complete data, right? We say it's an incomplete data. Then consistency. So there's a huge data we are integrating, combining from different sources with different formats. So in that case, if you are doing some modification, some part of the data, and if it is not reflected in the other part of the data, it leads to inconsistency. Then timeliness. So regularly the data should be updated. If it is not done, then again during that period, whatever the data we are taking, it might give us some problem. Then believability. So how trustable the data, whether it is correct or not. So whatever the data given to us, can we believe that the data is correct? Then interpretability. How do I interpret the data? Is it easy for me to interpret the given data? Because as a technical people or as a data mining expert, we may not be familiar with all domains or all the areas. So how do we understand the data, right? How do we know the data is correct? How do we know the data is consistent or not? It is difficult for us to know. So but in real time database, whatever we have in real data, okay, nothing is perfect. So whatever the qualities or the measures we have listed here, we cannot expect them in our raw data. So there are so many reasons we would be looking into all these aspects in details in the coming slides. So because all these are not there available in our raw data, we need to process the data. Before start mining or before start looking into the data, we need to prepare our data for our task. So it is called as the pre-process. So before processing the data, right, in advance, we need to do some sort of, you need to use some techniques or some methods to ensure that our data is of good quality. So the major tasks in data pre-processing are data cleaning, which includes filling in the missing values. If some values are missing, we cannot leave them empty, we need to fill them. If there are some noise in the data, we need to remove the noise if possible. If not possible to remove completely, at least try to smooth it. Then if at all some outliers are there, look for it whether they are there or not. If they are there, you can remove them if they are not required. And if there are some inconsistency, you need to resolve those inconsistencies. So all these are part of data cleaning. So data cleaning is one of the steps, okay, one of the tasks of data pre-processing. So first, always we start with cleaning our data. So once data is cleaned, then we go for the second task, the second step called as data integration. So we have data in different formats in different location. So we need to combine them together, right? So that is what we do in data integration. So during this, there could be some problems like identification problem. There are different entities across different databases or different data sources in different formats. So we need to identify that given entity uniquely. Then sometimes there may be some redundancies that we need to remove. Then data inconsistency, again we need to detect if there are inconsistencies and ensure that our entire data is consistent. That is the second one. The third one is data reduction, because a huge data, if possible, it's always better to reduce the data without compromising the quality of the data or without compromising our expected output. So reduction does not mean that simply remove something. So there are certain parameters based on which we need to decide which can be removed or which can be how we can reduce it. For example, if the same data is there multiple times or multiple dimensions, we can remove one of them, right? Or else if it is possible for us to get one data from some other data, then we can have only one. Say for example, if I have a dimension called as the age and other dimension called as the say date of birth. So it's possible for me to get the information of age if I have date of birth. So why to have two different columns or fields in my database? So I can remove one of it, right? That's what we mean by data reduction. Then one more thing is real data will be having many dimensions, many fields, and many columns, and all of them might not be required for us. Suppose let us say that if I consider a student database and if I want to analyze the results. So in that case, I may not require your permanent address, a residential address, parents information, your contact numbers. They are irrelevant for me because right now the purpose, the task given to me is to analyze your result, right? So in that case, all those dimensions I can remove. And suppose let us say that if the department wants some information about the student, we need to collect some information. We are preparing some forms. In that case, what happens? I require your email ID, maybe your contact number or your residential address. So then I need to take those things. In that case, I may not require your marks or grades. Okay. So depend like this, we can reduce the data. Then data transformation. So the data will be in, suppose a numerical data, if I take it is in different ranges, right? So if I want to, it is better always if it is possible for us to transform data so that it is in some range. So it's very easy for us to understand. That's the reason we try to transform data, we try to go for normalizing the data. So we'll be studying or discussing about all these four major tasks in detail. This is the diagrammatic representation. So the data is there. We are trying to remove the noises or relevant things. So we are trying to clean the data here. So once our data is clean, then data is available at different location and with different format. We try to combine them and store as one single data. Then you can see here so many attributes, many rows and columns are there. So reduce it, retain only the required attributes, and then finally transform the data. So let us start with the first one, that is data cleaning. So as I told you, data in the real world is dirty. Dirty because it is not clean. Why is it not clean? So there are many incorrect data. So the reason could be if you are using some instruments to measure the data, to store the data, and sometimes that instrument might not be correct one. In that case, the value whatever we see or we get through that instrument might be incorrect. Or sometimes instrument may be working perfectly, but it could be a human error because it is we who are looking into the value shown by the instrument and we are recording, we are entering, we are typing. So we may do some error. Or transmission, we are going to transmit our data from one system to the other system, maybe over the network. You know, there are many possibilities of getting error in the data on transmission also. So we say the data is incomplete. Okay. So incomplete means the data is not having all the attributes. So we say lacking attribute values. For example, if there is an attribute called as occupation and if it is like this, what does it mean? It means that is not there, right? So why is it not there? Maybe when at the time of data entry or data collection, the certain fields could be an optional fields, right? Suppose if I give you some form and if I ask you to enter your details, and certain fields, if I make it as mandatory, you need to enter the data, right? But if suppose if certain attributes, if I say they are optional one, and suppose if you are in hurry, you may not fill up that data, or sometime you don't have enough time or you don't want to give the data at that time also, the data may not be available, right? So in that case we say it is a lacking attribute values. So values are not there for the attribute. Then lacking certain attributes of interest. When we want to analyze our data, we are interested in certain things and we look for some attributes, and that attribute itself might not be there. So why it can happen? Let us say that today I want to analyze the data. Maybe past 5 years or 10 years data is given to me, right? But before 10 years, when they try to collect the data, they may not have foreseen that, okay, after 10 years, I want to analyze this, I want to analyze that. They might have collected only a basic information. Okay, so after 10 years of data, when I want to analyze, I look for some attribute and it is not available to me. Or sometimes it may be the detailed data might not be available, only aggregate information, aggregate data is available. So all of these things, if it is there, we say the data is incomplete. Okay. So for example, say aggregate data. Suppose let us say that assignments, if I give you two questions, which one carries 2 marks and one carries 3 marks, and if I record the marks out of 5, and tomorrow somebody wants to split up of 2 marks and 3 marks. If I don't store that information, if I enter only out of 5, in that case, they don't get the detailed data, right? They'll be having only the aggregate data, how much one student has scored out of 5, not how much has been scored out of 2 and then 3. So like that. So some of the examples, as I told you, occupation. then not applicable data value when collected. So when we collect, certain fields might not be applicable at that point of time. In that case, what happens? We leave that as a blank data. Let us say when you come to the college, suppose if your registration number you don't know, or if you're coming from some other department, you get shifted to other department or this department, and later your registration number could be changed, right? So as soon as you come to the department, if I ask you the registration number, you may not be having at that point of time, you might get it later. Okay, so let us say that employees, okay, so some employees they live in the quarters, and some employees who are local, they may not use the quarters facility. Suppose if there is a salary with a component called as the rent allowance. Suppose if you are staying outside the quarters in some rented house or flat, and if your employer says, okay, you will be getting some amount as the rent allowance, okay, and you want to collect that information. In that case, the employees who are residing in quarters, not on rented flats, it is not applicable to them. In that case, they may write any are not applicable. Okay, so there are various reasons why we get into situation where we have this term called as the non applicable. So then different consideration between the time, that's what I was telling, right? When we collect the data, we collect some data without knowing what exactly is required. And when I collect the data, I may not be knowing that after a few years I need to go in for mining the data, or I want to analyze the data and I would like to use the data. I may not be knowing because I'm not a technical person. I may be running some small business. Maybe I'm using the computer maybe for billing purpose or some small purpose, right? So after a few years I'll come to know about the benefits of analyzing the data. At that time I may give my data to somebody and ask to analyze. So I don't foresee what I want to do in future. So that's a reason certain data might not be available. For example, the customer information. So for the sales, there are sales department, there's a marketing department. So the customer personal details, it may not be required for both sales as well as the marketing person, right? So salesperson is only interested in how much sales are there in each of the product wise details or item wise detail. Suppose if the customer information is not there, that salesperson might not bother much. But maybe when it comes to the marketing person, he has to develop some strategy. He may want to communicate with the customer. So that person requires the customer details. So apart from that, there could be human errors, or sometimes there could be a hardware error, or maybe while designing your databases, there could be a possibility of some errors occurring into a software. So due to all these reasons, the real-time data what we see is incomplete. You cannot see a complete, accurate, 100% accurate data in real-time scenario. So data definitely it would be incomplete. Next, coming to the part that is noisy. Noise means data is there, but it is having some errors. Suppose if there is a field salary and if it is called as a -10, it means it's an error, right? We cannot say that -10, nobody will accept -10 as a salary. So it could be some error again, but this is what we call as the noise. So if you observe the difference between these two, here occupation it is blank, it is incomplete. Data is not there, right? But here the data is there, but it is incorrect. It is an erroneous data. There is some error in this data. So we call it as the noisy data. Again, noise can be introduced due to the instruments what we used if they're not working properly. It may be a problem while you enter your data, because a human who is entering this data as -10 typing, there is typo errors or errors in data transmission, or sometimes it's a limitation, buffer size or array size, right? Suppose if I ask you to write a program to compute the factorial, to find a factorial of a given number, you may start with int num equal to something, right? But suppose if I give you large value, in that case it is not possible for you to get the answer. If it is small integer, small number, though the answer is correct, your logic is correct, you might get the proper answer for small numbers, is it not? Suppose if I give some big number, it may not work because our variable is of type int. You may have to go for long int or double, whatever it is, if you want to find a factorial of a large number. So sometimes there is some limitation or some array size. If we use array, normally by default you say okay, int a of 10 or int a of 50 or int a of 100. So sometimes if I want to incorporate more data, in that case my size of buffer may be limited. Okay. So because of this, I'm not able to get the correct data. So we say it's a noisy data. There is some noise in our data. So incomplete, noisy. Then third one is inconsistent. Inconsistent is discrepancy. Suppose let us say that we have two fields, age is 42 and if I say birthday is on some year, and if you calculate as of that date, they may not match. Okay. Or let us say that to give rating, some database, some company is using rating as 1, 2, 3 and somebody might use A, B, C. So when you combine those two data, either you need to convert this as A, B, C or you need to convert this as 1, 2, 3, right? So how do you do it? Let us say that when you go, company comes, okay, it tells that eligibility is 75%. But if we are not giving the marks, if you are just giving the grades, with you they may give the marks. So with you student they will be having the marks. But whereas the my students, MITNs, they will be having only the grades as GPA or CGPA, right? Or even if you use the grade system also, somebody might use 4-grade system, somebody may is using 10-grade system. So the inconsistency, if you want to combine the student data across different institutions, then it is, we can see this as inconsistent data. Then different data sources, right? When you integrate the data from different data sources, then also we come across with this inconsistency problem. And sometimes due to the dependencies, right? Functional dependencies are there. We change some value and in one table, and if you're not taken care of these dependencies, or if you are not gone for normalizing our database properly, in that case also we see this inconsistent problem. Let us say an example. So our department, right? Somebody might write it as INCT, somebody might write ICT, somebody might write information and communication technology, or somebody might write info dot and COMM dot, then TECH dot, right? So all of them, they are referring to the same branch or the same department, isn't it? Suppose if I want to give a query, select distinct branch, then what happens? Query, the system, it does not know, right? ICT and INCT are the same. It cannot differentiate between ICT, INCT, information and communication technology, or info and content. It cannot. So it will show us 4 different departments, but actually there's only one department which is existing. Okay. So these are all the problems of inconsistency. It happens, right? Or let us say that if you go for different database, somebody might use the term as cust ID, somebody might use it as customer ID. And if you want to analyze based on this, whether should we consider them as the 2 different dimensions, or are they referring to the same thing, that we need to look into. So these kinds of inconsistency we need to see, we need to analyze, and we need to remove those inconsistencies. So sometimes what happens is intentional. Suppose if there is a field called as date of birth, you may not want to reveal your actual date of birth, right? But if it is a mandatory field, you might enter it as Jan 1. There is nobody who is verifying whatever the data you're entering, whether it is correct or not, right? Or somebody asks you what is your salary, you're not interested to reveal actual salary, you might enter some amount randomly. That is intentional error. It is not that you don't know, right? Intentionally you are doing some mistake. Or somebody asks you what is your CGPA, if it is very less, you may not want to tell, right? You may lie, so you may give something else. So they are called as the intentional mistakes. So we call it as a disguised missing data. It is not that data is there, but it is not the correct data. Okay, so it is an intentional error. So because of all these things, there is the problem in our data and we need to clean our data. That is the first task. Okay, that is data cleaning. So what we need to look into data cleaning, you need to look for this incomplete data. How do you handle this kind of data? Something is missing, you cannot go with this missing data, you need to do something for this missing data. There is some noise in the data, how do you take care of this noise? Then there is some inconsistency in the data, how do you ensure the consistency in your data? And how do you identify that what are all the possible intentional errors in the data and how do you correct those data? So we need to look into these things and rectify these things, correct all these errors in data cleaning. Okay. Now, when we say that we are missing data or incomplete data, so what are the reasons for this missing data? So one reason could be really the data is not available. Sometimes it's available, sometimes it may not be available. So in that case, the data is incomplete. So again, already I told you it's a kind of repetition again, right? So it could be because of the equipment which is not functioning properly. It could be because of inconsistency or the data not entered due to misunderstanding. Sometimes certain fields we may not understand what exactly the field is referring and we may not enter the data because we are not able to understand, right? If I don't understand certain field or the name, I cannot enter the data. Then certain data may not be considered important. I don't know what is the importance of that data. I simply skip it, okay, without knowing the importance. So in that case also the data is not available. Say for example, we usually we go for what is called as the accreditation. Okay, it is one thing called as NBA, National Board of Accreditation, with because of which our program is being recognized. Suppose if you want to go for higher studies or MS in other countries abroad, then if your program is not accredited, then they don't consider your UG program. Okay, if it is recognized only then directly you are eligible for their PG courses. So for this accreditation, there are various components, various things which we do. One of them is to give them the details of our alumni, our students. So what we do is usually once in a 3 years, we send certain forms to all our students requesting them to fill the form. So you may not be knowing the what is the important of this, right? Anyway, I got my degree. Why should I bother about something which is coming from my department, right? You may not feel that. In that case, the data is not complete, and after a few years in the industry, you'll know that yes, there is MS, it is a must, or many are doing, or there is some advantage of this higher studies, let me also do. If everybody thinks it is not important, if none of the student replies, then we have absolutely zero value, right, for that component. So if we don't give the data, then our program is not accredited and you are not eligible for your PG course, right? So sometimes what happens, we don't know the importance and we simply ignore. Sometimes purposely we may ignore and sometimes we may not know the implications of it. Or one more example, the recent you might be knowing, right? One of our alumni, Rashmi. So first time some Indian became the student union president, right? In a prestigious university. But within few days she has to resign. Why? Just because certain comments which she had put in her social media long back, few years back. At that time she had not foreseen, okay, I may be studying my PG or postgraduate in some university and I may be going there selecting or electing as a chair of some student union. Even now today what you are doing, you may put so many things on your social media and you don't know the implications of them. Okay, so you need to be careful. Just because our ignorance, sometimes we give some fast data, sometimes we don't give certain data. Because of that, we might face some problems in future. Okay. Yeah, so we don't consider it as important. Let us say that you are sitting for some placements. Okay, so placement, they may ask you, give me all your social media handles, your Twitter or your LinkedIn, everything. And if they check, they'll come to know what kind of a person you are. So just imagine what happens there, right? So you cannot assume that, okay, I'm a free person, right? I can do anything, I can write anything, I can do anything. No, there is somebody who is observing you. Okay, so at some time, one or the other time, there could be a problem to you. Then not registered history or changes of data. Okay, I'll enter my data, the details are correct. Tomorrow, let us say that okay, I'm giving you my data. Let us say tomorrow I'm here in cabin number 37. Tomorrow our department might grow, the intake might be more, there may be more cabins, and I may shift from this cabin to some other cabin. And if I don't give that information, people are not aware that I'm here, right? Or let us say that we take the student information, your address and all those things. So after 2 years, if you want to communicate with you, and during that time, after 2 years, you have shifted, you are not available in that address you are given, then it is not possible for us to contact you. So updating is very important. Okay, whenever any changes are happening as and when, so immediately the data should be updated. If the data is not updated, we are having only the old stale data, and that may not be useful for us. Then missing data may need to be informed. So these are the various reasons why the data is missing. So missing data would be there, and we cannot continue with the missing data. So we need to adopt some method, some mechanism, and we need to infer this missing data. So how do we handle this missing data? So first solution could be you just simply ignore that tuple or that date. But suppose if there are a lot of missing data, how many tuples you are going to ignore? Right? So the number of data which is having a number of records with a missing data are more, and if I start skipping all those records, I might be left with only few data, and which may not be possible for me to analyze that data properly. So this is easy solution, but it is not going to help me much. The next solution could be filling the missing value manually. I have thousands of millions of record. I'll sit and fill all those missing values manually, which is a tedious and definitely not a feasible solution, right? Filling all those missing values when our data is very huge, because we know that data mining, we are performing mining on a historical data, which is in terms of terabytes, 10 years, 15 years of data we are dealing with, and we cannot do something manually for such a large amount of data. So to avoid manual, if you want to automate it, so how do you automate? Suppose let us say that wherever the value is missing, I fill that value with some constant, say some unknown or some A or some E, some term, okay, because I cannot leave that field blank. So for that purpose, I want to enter some data. So what is the data? I might enter something, right? Could be an unknown, or maybe E or some error, some term I am filling wherever the value is missing on any global constant. But again, this is not a good solution. Okay, why? Because it could be a misleading. Tomorrow, let us say that somebody is trying to come up with some clusters, group the data, and if they might see these values say unknown, and they might think this itself is some class. Okay, so it might mislead. It might create a new class. Or if it is a numeric data, maybe we can try to find the mean of all the values, whatever is available, and we may fill that missing data with the mean, or the attribute mean of all samples belonging to the same class. Whether you're considering the mean for the entire database, or maybe it's a different attributes, you're taking the mean and you're filling it up. So which one would be the better one? So the mean, attribute mean is definitely better compared to ignoring the tuple, or compared to manual, or compared to automating with some default value. Okay, so still the better way is with the find out what is the most, because they are the blindly we are doing these things. Okay, so instead of that, if it is possible for us to see what could be the most probable value, so it could be some techniques like say Bayesian or decision tree. It is possible for us to infer something. in a very smart or in a very technical way. So the last one, it would be definitely a best option compared to all these things. So these are all the things which are very direct, which is easy, but they may not be useful for us if you want to get some useful knowledge from our data. Okay. Say for example, here, so there is age, there is income, there is some team, some gender. Suppose if some value is missing here. So I can see this is a numeric value. Maybe I can take the mean of this and I can fill this missing value with the mean, right? Otherwise, if I'm analyzing based on their age, okay, and then I'll come to know, okay, suppose person is 39 years old, so this age group, what could be their income? So that I can fill up here. Similarly, team. So there are various teams and here the team name is missing. So how do I know what is the team? I don't have any other information. So maybe I can see the other, wherever there is a team which is occurring more frequently, I might conclude that, okay, the frequent one I might take into consideration for missing data and I might fill it with the frequent team name or something. Okay. So just a simple example to show how we can fill the missing data. So any doubts here up to here? So we're just discussing about the data cleaning, why we need to pre-process the data. In that the first task is cleaning the data. So why we need to clean the data? Because data is incomplete, data is inconsistent, right? So many reasons, or sometimes there are some intentional error, inconsistencies are there. So due to this, we need to clean our data. So one of them is missing values in the data. We need to fill with some values. So if you take care of certain things while designing your database or entering the data, it is definitely possible to minimize these kinds of the problems. Okay. So not applicable, or if there is a null, how do you handle the null? You can come up with some rules to handle the null cases, right? Or if some field is left intentionally blank, you need to remember that, okay, you should fill it later. Or if you recall, when you come here for the first time, they ask you to register yourself in SLCM, right? Just imagine at that time how much tense you are. Certain things it's not known to you, some value is not there, or some mass card you are not brought with you. Then the faculty in the lab is, okay, don't get it, it's fine, you come back tomorrow and you can fill it later also, isn't it? But if you forget to fill it later, then it will be blank forever. So we should not forget to fill. So need to take care of these things to minimize this missing data problem. Yeah. So any questions with respect to data cleaning and especially missing data? So any doubts, you please ask me. By the way, are you able to follow me? Is it too fast or too slow, or because it's the first class I'm asking you so that I can change myself as per your feedback. Are you able to follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Okay then, I'll be stopping here today.